For many years, he worked for American Airlines, and I don't know if you know this, but I have a love affair with the airline industry.
Oh.
So I have the guy who was the project manager, who's a Beaver County gentleman, Paul Hoback, with me on Monday night at 8. He's getting ready to head to Sarasota, Bradenton. He's going to become the CEO of that airport. But this $1.7 billion project, not a single cent of taxpayer dollars, it's about ready to have the curtain come up. I love the airport. You worked there. What was it like all those years working for then U.S. Air and American Airlines?
Very exciting. Very exciting. I got hired in '83, and at the time, there were still mills open, and it was kind of the transition that was fading out, and some other jobs were starting to come available, and I had the opportunity to get in with the airline, and it was very exciting. I had a young family then, and we could travel for free, and we traveled everywhere, and the job was it was rewarding. It was a good job. Now, there were a couple tough spots along the way when some mergers would come. We had a PSA merger when you're thinking you might get shipped out of town. My mic
To
work.
make sure. Yeah, you're gold.
Okay.
Go ahead. We had a double check.
But there was a couple bumps in the road. But I had 32 years with U.S. Airways and American Airlines, and it was really good.
Let me tell you about the significance of U.S. Airways and what it meant. As he mentioned, when the mills were going away, which is now over 40 years, you had second generation, meaning of the greatest generation, who would have been going into those mills, no job. So many of them matriculated to U.S. Air, worked, baggage claim, became flight attendants, others just working for that brand, mechanics, what have you. And then when U.S. Airways left, it was heartbreaking because you saw thousands of people lose their job, or they had to work in places that were not in Pennsylvania to kind of keep seniority or keep their job. And then American Airlines comes in, and it was just a happy, happy story. So they're doing great now, but the airline industry means so much to me. And 6,000 people work at that airport, and I just love everything about it. And I couldn't be more excited to have Paul Hoback on Monday night on KDKA. Now, let's talk about Joe Namath a little bit. And I know it's about Larry Bruno. We love Larry Bruno.
Yeah.
But I absolutely have always been enamored by Joe. And I told him, I get home last night talking politics. I'm like wide awake, so I'm scrolling. And the old A&E biography came on of Joe Namath. Probably was in his, I want to say, late 50s, okay? Still looked great, talking about everything on and off the field. But what I have forgotten, his nickname was Joey U in high school because of his love of Johnny Unitas.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing. So I'm watching this Super Bowl footage, which he didn't throw a touchdown pass and was named the MVP.
Right.
The guy couldn't even run then. He was in the league for like 4 years. He was like stiff-legged because his knees were shot. Can you imagine with the surgery today and the guy who was his childhood hero, Dr. Pat DeMeo, grew up in New York, loved Joe Namath. I mean, what they're doing in medicine now at AHN and Highmark, it's incredible. But can you imagine if the sports medicine existed then, what we have experienced today, what kind of career he could have had?
Well, the thing with Joe is he should be looked at in a certain category with like Gale Sayers, Terrell Davis, great players that their career were cut short because of injury. But people don't look at him like that. They look at him like when he came into the league, he was a healthy player. He was anything but. I mean, they didn't promise him anything. They said maybe 4 years. And he was ecstatic over that. He's 4 years in pro ball. He thought that was the greatest forecast he can get. That's how bad his knee was, okay? His first 5 years in pro football, he was as good as anyone that's ever played the game. Okay, people forget that. They forget the yardage he put up with the Jets, for crying out loud, Rob.
You don't need this.
And the Jets they were as hapless then as they are now. I mean, can you imagine? Think about this. If Aaron Rodgers could have won a Super Bowl with the Jets, the hero he would have been, that was Joe.
Why is that franchise so bad? They haven't won a game this year.
They just refused. I mean, when they had Testaverde, remember they made the championship game? I think that was, in the late 80s? I don't know, when Vinny played.
Even sadly, Mark Sanchez is in the news now for all the wrong reasons. I mean, I thought he was going to be the next great
They
one.
had a couple good teams that made the playoffs.
Richard Todd was like the heir apparent, remember back in the day, and he didn't make it.
Todd was great. He loved Namath. Oh, I can tell you some Todd stories.
It was Richard Todd, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, he was the number one draft pick, 1975. He idolized Joe, idolized him. And a lot of people think that he was the second best Jet quarterback ever. A lot of people say that because he had a few good years there for a while. Then they kind of gave up on him when Kenny O'Brien came in.
Remember the players, Boozer and Snell and Maynard?
Higgins.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
had
they
Higgins.
they were great players.
That team was like so magical. And the thing is, people get mad because the Jets get so much credit for winning that Super Bowl, but they forget how good the Colts were. You know, Rob, going into that game, that was the greatest team in NFL history. They were crushing people. There was no one better. If they would have won Super Bowl III, the Colts would have been the greatest team ever in NFL history.
And again, we're going to talk about Larry Bruno, the foundation, and what's up next. And now they are open for business. So if you want to come and check out all the things they have here, I highly recommend it. But here's what's even more staggering to me. He didn't throw a pass in that game, okay?
In the fourth quarter.
Right. But here, I mean, didn't throw a touchdown pass in the entire
He
game.
didn't throw a pass in the fourth quarter.
No, but what the announcers were talking about, and you're so smart about this stuff, here's what they said was the reason why he won that game. And this is where the magical coach comes in. He was very deceptive with the football. They couldn't find the football. He was handing the football off and doing things, and he found out they were having strength going to the left side, but he did it different ways by handing the football off. That's what made them so successful.
That's the Larry Bruno touch.
Right.
That was what Larry Bruno added to his game. When you have a genius like Coach Bruno and a talent like Namath that come together in 1960, boom, magical. Magical, man. I mean, usually you have one or the other, but to have both of them like that, it was just a match made in heaven.
Joe was less than 10 years removed from being at Beaver Falls when he won that Super Bowl.
Well, he graduated in 61, and he won the Super Bowl
69.
or January 12th, 1969.
He was a kid still.
Yeah,
And he comes back to Beaver Falls and they have a parade on 7th Avenue.
on my 12th birthday.
I really believe Jim Kelly, Danny Marino, all of them, because of Montana, all of them because of him.
Joe is, today he doesn't get the credit, Rob. I mean, guys look at his stats. They look at him as a Hall of Famer, and they'll say, you know, his stats weren't that great, blah, blah, blah. But you have to put Joe in that category, like I say, with the walking wounded. And what he did was amazing. I mean, he was the most courageous quarterback. He took some shots that I could show you some footage with Ben Davidson.
Oh.
And he had this, guys, he had his jaw broken, his wrist broken. I mean, he was the toughest quarterback. And I don't want to hear people say that you're great just because you can pass. There's components to be a great quarterback. Walt Harris will back me up on this because he's a good quarterback coach.
The best.
The former Pitt and Stanford.
The best.
Okay. There's components. Okay. Field generalship, toughness, passing, arm strength. There's all these categories that you have to rate quarterbacks. And if you rate Joe in each one of these categories, he stacks up with anybody. He stacks up with anyone.
He was my hero, man.
The only category that he wouldn't rate high is running the football because of his knees.
But from what I understand, before the knees went bad, he could run. Back in high school, he could fly.
You kidding me? Even at Bama. Oh, you see when they show footage at Bama, we have, like from his documentary, he was really, really something.
Do you realize Bama was Stabler before him and then him? They won the national championship. That just kind of gets lost because I think he was so charismatic as a pro and Bachelor's 3, the nightclub and the movies and the commercial with Farrah Fawcett. I think people don't remember that great collegiate career he had.
His talent was just so. If you ever look at the roster of the Alabama team he was on, just about to the man. You know, Leroy Jordan was on that team. He was Joe's center. And they're all from the South. And then you see that one PA guy there. He was airdropped in there, man. No one knew who he was. Joe walked out there and he started throwing the ball around. And them guys are like, whoa.
Listen,
They never seen anything like that.
they have the best turf today, the best nutrition. Like Joe was saying, we never really paid attention to what we were eating. And they didn't have practice facilities that got them out of the weather. When they were at Shea Stadium practicing in November, December, they were out there in the elements. I mean, for hours, repetition, over and over and over.
What people forget about Joe's career. It was in the 60s. I mean, he played in the 70s, but he was walking wounded. He's never played a full season. I think the only full season he played, he was second in the league in passing, like 73. He didn't get hurt. He ended second in the league in passing yardage, but most of his career was played in the 60s. Okay, that's old school football, Rob.
It is.
I mean, they were a different breed back then. That's Butkus, Nitschke, Davidson. I mean,
No protection of the quarterback.
Quarterbacks took a beating.
All right, so what's going on at the foundation? Tell everybody what's happening as we sit here in October of
Well,
2025.
We got through all of our events with everything, with our banquet in July. Now we concentrate, we kind of take a deep breath, and we come back and we start looking for our induction class for next year. So we just had a meeting last night, and we got our nomination list out, and we handed them out, and we're all going to start looking at it. In our next meeting, we'll start formalizing that. But we're starting to plan some events here. We're going to have some speaking events here at the venue, and we're working on getting the word out a little bit better. We're upgrading our website where now we've been basically running kind of like old school. We're going to be able to buy tickets. The public will be able to buy tickets for our banquet on our website. We're going to sell T-shirts, hats, sweatshirts on the website, and we're going to start having a database, enter a database, and communicating with our inductees better to let them know our event dates and things that are going on, to keep them more abreast of what's going on. Because, Rob, what's happening is we're still kind of a small roots group with the 9 of us, but people look at us of what we've accomplished in the last 15 years. They expect a lot from us, okay?
Well, definitely.
They expect a lot from us, so we have to keep progressing for what people want us. We're going to be there. So we're taking the step up. We're getting the laptop in here, and we're going to get our database set up. We're going to get our website upgraded. So we're going to be like a real...
Listen, I got some contacts with Comcast. We need to get Wi-Fi in here.
We're going to have internet and everything.
Yeah, baby. Hey, listen, you're open how many days now?
We're open 3 days a week. Yeah, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays.
So come on over, experience the magical coach, Larry Bruno. It's all about achievements and saluting people who are making a difference. And this guy has made a big difference, as they all have, including that gentleman. We miss him, Mr. Ron Main. All right, folks, it's your Pratt Pack. Now I got to go back home and edit till midnight, but I'll get these up, and you'll see them across my social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. And please, whatever you can do to help out. The Magical Coach, magicalcoach.org.